international institutions. So when we say international institutions, these are also institutions which is actually involved ito from the different creations. Like for example, yung Asia Pacific region, ASEAN, or yung European, no? Kasi maraming klase po tayo ng mga international association. So with this regard to policy, no, with the rules given by America, so alam naman natin economic cleansing po si Trump or yung kanyang administration. So hihina, no? Kasi as I said po last meeting, there are around 65 organization or organization na supposed to be part ng Amerika na kung saan ay nag-withdraw ang Amerika, 'di ba? So affected na po 'yun syempre yung mga finances niyan, mean to say yung finances support na tinatawag natin, and even some probably siguro yung mga rules na which was already implemented and then later on iba na yung tinatahak ni Trump. Like for example, yung free trade, 'di ba? Sabi nga natin free trade ang maganda, pero ngayon ang focus ni Trump ngayon is protectionism, which they need to protect the local one, so that yung mga locals ay bibili na lang within the area at magwo-work na rin within sa kanilang area. Hindi yung dating bumibili pa ng produkto sa ibang bansa sa mga cheaper ones. Syempre namamatay yung manufacturing or job kumbaga sa bansa nila. Then number 5 na key aspects, no? We have the technology and supply chain, okay? Or chains, sabi natin. So with the restricted Chinese technology, so referring to these companies po ito, like for example the Huawei company, no, yung gumagawa ng cellular phone, and even TikTok, yung mga application made from China. Obviously we understand all of it is actually banned sa Amerika, because ang thinking po na Amerika is that all the applications from the from the Android, which is created by or created in China, are actually they use it as for intelligence spying, no? Spying, yung pag-i-spy nila. As mentioned ito ng FBI, na like for example yung Snapchat, binanggit po yan Snapchat, TikTok, no? Kasi kumukuha ng information sa iyo eh. So ito yung nagiging cost daw ng minsan nawawalan tayo ng pera sa mga bangko kasi nga they already, no, kumbaga na-hack na nila, nakuha nila yung mga information na yan. So these are example of sabi natin restricted, no, some of the Chinese technology companies. Also nandiyan yung another one is promoted the decoupling in US or of US, wherein yung China supply chains, ibig sabihin anong mangyayari po sa China supply chain, so magkakaroon po ng mga response dito. So the US and China are experiencing a decoupling of their supply chains, meaning a reduction in their interconnectedness. So ayan po yung decoupling meaning. Particularly in trade and manufacturing, while complete decoupling is unlikely in the short term. So there is a clear trend of diversification away from China by the US companies, driven by factors like, of course, imposition of tariffs, yung geopolitical tensions, no? Ito po yung mga pwede nating maging mga consequences or mga effect na tinatawag. Even of course yung pandemic related disruptions. So we understand what happened during the pandemic, no? Ang daming nagkaroon ng problema. In fact, pati yung trading affected. So walang masyado nag-deliver, even yung mga tao hindi nakabili dahil di makalabas, di ba? So yan po yan. Pero yung mga company to like China, ano nga yun? Ano nga yung ang company na yon? Sinop ba yon? Sinop o whatever. Letter S yan. Tapos ang Amerika, gumawa din sila ng gamot na sa Pfizer, di ba? Mga kung ano-ano. So meron sila mga, kumbaga, way, no? Kumbaga parang pansabi lang na merong ginagawa for the impact. So, nandyan din of course, no, the shift in leading to the so-called China plus one sourcing strategy. What does it mean? So, they're looking for other resources from other area aside from China. Or in short, they work in China, they have the factory in China, but the facilities or, not facilities, the equipment or the materials are actually taken from other neighboring countries. Kaya lang ang question po dito, kung halimbawa ay bibili, no? Kunyari, bibili ka ng produkto sa ibang bansa, pero manufacturing mo sa China, ano yung assurance mo na yung binili mong produkto or material sa Vietnam, for example, talagang made in Vietnam, 'di ba? Kasi sa China Plus One policy, kung analyze nyo, pwede silang bumili ng produkto sa ibang karatig bansa na cheaper. Paano kung ano nga sabi ko kanina, ano nga yung assurance mo kung yung produktong o yung product na nabili mo na cheaper kunyari sa Vietnam, talagang produkto nila. What if yung Vietnam, kinuha din pala yung materyales sa China na mas cheaper? 'Di ba? Tapos ikaw, bibili ka pa sa ibang bayan, 'di ba? Tapos dadali mo sa China, total may manufacturing sa China. 'Di ba? Parang I don't know kung paano niyo siya i-analyze, pero sa akin kasi parang may something 'di ba? So anyway, so where companies po seek alternative suppliers, no, in other countries. Sometimes even those closely linked, no, to China. O ano ba yung mga closely linked to China? Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, pwede rin. Yan, siyempre Malaysia. Yan. Indonesia. Ano pa? Yung sa part ng India, 'di ba? Sa Russian part din. I don't know ang ano, ang tawag din ang Taiwan, doon ko rin ba kumukuha? Kasi ang Taiwan is semiconductor 'di ba? So, although ngayon nakapokus ang China sa semiconductor. Anyway, so, and also to explore nearshoring or reshoring options, no? Ano man yung reshoring option later. So, what are the evidences of coupling? So, number one is to reduce US import from China. Okay? So, the China share of US import has decreased, dyan, with some goods being replaced by imports from other developing countries. Okay, yan nga yung China plus one na sinasabi nga. And then also yung particularly those integrated into China's supply chains. Number two, diversification of sourcing. So the US companies now are actively seeking new suppliers in countries not like Vietnam, kasi nga yan ang close sa China din yan, Indonesia and Mexico itself. Although Mexico medyo malayo, but again, kumukuha din po yan sa China. Kasi remember, ang China po, cheaper ang kanyang ibinebenta. Di ba nga, tignan nyo nga, di ba yung mga online, dinibenta sa atin ng mura. Di ba? Sabi nang gagaling pa sa mga ibang bansa, China, di ba? Padadala natin sa mga Shopee, tignan nyo lang 'Di ba? Yung mga produktong dinideliver sa atin, quality good, tapos cheaper lang siya. Kasi, eto yun Okay? So, although some of these suppliers may still have connection to Chinese companies, so sabi nga natin, so yan yung sinasabi nating anong assurance na cheaper talaga makukuha at original nilang nakuha doon sa bansang pinagkuhanan. What if po ay gawa pala sa China din, 'di ba? So ayan. Next, nearshoring and reshoring. Take note, there are evidences of companies bringing product closer to US, either to neighboring countries back to US. So, ito po yung to reduce reliance on distant supply chain. Yung pong, ito yung number 4 is the China Plus One strategy. Companies po are adopting a China One policy, no, or strategies, which means maintaining some operation in China. Ayan po yan. While also developing alternative supply chains in other countries. So, ayan nga, yung mga bansang medyo connected, doon sila pupunta rin sila. While there are also other manufacturing or mine-maintain nila operation. Like for example, at tawag dito, itong cellphone, Apple. 'Di ba? Ang gusto ni Trump bumalik sa bansang China, bansang Amerika. Pero ang tanong nga kasi, kung ililipat si Apple uli sa Amerika, anong assurance na magiging maganda ang competition sa market? Mahal na nga siya sa market kapag kahit gawa na sa China, pag dinala mo pa sa Amerika, lalong magmamahal. 'Di ba? Sino pang bibili mo? So ang tanong dito, sino target ngayon? Sino target mo ngayon? 'Di ba? So yan po 'yan. So they're looking for other countries, alternative po 'yan. Pero yun nga sabi ko nga sa inyo, ano yung assurance doon? Number 5, US-China trade tension war between America and China. So it mentioned this as the driver of decoupling. Trade barriers po like as tariff, no, imposed by US on Chinese goods also have increased the cost of import, no, or importing from China. And of course, incentivized, no, companies to look elsewhere. So since there is already a law or rules given by Trump, no, that all companies, originally American companies must be kumbaga to return back, no, to their homeland, yun nga lang yung magiging problema. So that's why some companies, what they're doing now are they are looking for other areas which is not, of course, in China, kasi China yung kalaban eh. So hanap sila sa mga developing countries. Then the number 6, of course, we have the geopolitical concern, which is a rising tension between the US and China, okay, as well as concerns about national security, okay, have also prompted companies to reduce their reliance on China. No? Kasi parang gusto pamukha kay China, no, na hindi pwede yan, di ba? Parang gustong kontrolin nga. Actually, yun nangyayari. Another driver po, number 7, is the pandemic-related disruptions. Okay, the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted vulnerabilities in global supply chain, particularly those heavily reliant in China or on China, leading to increased interest in diversifying sourcing. Then of course, we have number 8, which is increased cost and risk. No? Factors like rising labor costs in China. So alam natin yung dahil konti na yung magkano, so tataas nga yung labor cost. So magdi-demand yung mga actually may napanood akong documentary. Yung mga Chinese worker pala o yung mga Chinese sa China, kapag may trabaho ka, automatic pala sila sa isang, yung system na ang payment nila nasa isang system. So pag nagpa-purchase, yung mga mayaman, pag nagpa-purchase sila, ganun lang. Parang alam mo yung parang yung GCash na doon na lang iba minus, automatic. So kahit pala, pag umorder ka pala at tinapat mo yung cellphone mo, automatic na siya na-deduct sa system sa pera mo. So ganun pala ang setup sa kanila. So if ever na magkaroon ng problema, so maraming mawawalan trabaho. Diba? So magkakaroon ng risk talaga, yung cost dadami, etc. So another one, of course, due to political instability, have also contributed to the shift away from China. So marami mga Chinese umaalis na rin. Diba? Kasi wala nang hope eh. Kaya ang bagsakan nila sa mga developing countries like country natin. Diba? Pero galit tayo sa China ngayon. I mean, sa mga Chinese. Diba? So mga Chinese naman, lumilipat sila sa ibang bayan. Next, consequences of decoupling. 1. Potential fragmentation of global trade. So in decoupling, it would also lead to more fragmented global economy with a reduced level of interconnectedness between major trading partners. Number 2, shaping global manufacturing landscape. No? Sabi rito, decoupling could also result in the distribution of manufacturing activity with some production moving away from China to other countries. So ayan po yung ginagawa. 'Di ba? So magtatayo kami ng company sa ibang bansa. O kaya yung mga mayaman, mga businessman, sila naman lumilipat. Doon sila nagtatayo. Kasi nga, hindi naman kumbaga China yung kalaban. So yung company, naka-classified na ngayon sa ibang bansa. Siyempre, ibang rules yun. 'Di ba? So ayan. Actually, yung mga Chinese na businessmen, pumupunta sila sa mga countries na allied ng Amerika. O like sa atin, 'di ba? Number 3, impact on economic growth. Okay, while decoupling may reduce vulnerability to disruptions, it could also slow down global economic. Okay? Yung growth, no, due to the cost associated with restructuring supply chains and potentially reduces efficiency. Yeah. Okay? So, what is supposed to be, no, what is the response of China? So, ito po yung response ng China for all this kind of policy na yan, no? 1, dual circulation strategy. So ano naman po yan? China is promoting domestic consumption and innovation to reduce its reliance on external demand. So ini-improve nila yung kanilang domestic. Number 2, strengthening supply chain resilience. China is also investing a key sector like semiconductors, no? So ito po yung mga ginagamit sa mga cellphones, mga chips, no, mga laptop, 'di ba? Kaya makita nyo lahat ng ating technology is made in China na. Okay? Even also, no, nag-i-engage sila sa telecommunication, no, yung mga internet provider sila. Fiber for example, no, tingnan niyo ang Smart, Globe, PLDT, 'di ba may fiber 'yan? And look at it, i-check ninyo, sino pong may-ari ng fiber? Saan po nakapag-joint partner ang PLDT, ang Globe at ang Smart, no, at saka yung dito. tingnan nyo sa mga Chinese company kasi sila lang yung nag-offer ng 5G. And in fact, I understand, meron na pong 6G at 7G ba yata, 7G ata yung isa, basta alam ko may 6G na. Would you imagine, bago pa lang tayo nagpa 5G pero may ino-offer na kagad ng 6G. So in short, nakikita natin yung improvement ng talagang binibigyan ng emphasis ng China ang technology. Now, kung titignan din natin, meron siyang good side and bad side. Good side dahil at least nag-improve, 'di ba? Fast yung kanilang improvement. Pero ang negative dito is that they can use that, no? Pwede po nilang gamitin 'yan, technology na 'yan to spy all the possible companies or possible entities or institution or probably persons or country, 'di ba? Kaya mo ang daming nawawala po sa ating mga kung ano-anong kaperahan sa bangko. Kasi nga, with all kind of applications they offer to us, tayo naman mga tao, grab tayo ng grab, hindi natin na alam na kukuha na tayo ng information. So, ayan po yan. So, in short, may positive and negative, pero ako tinitignan ko kasi sa both side no? Kung ano yung ginagawa ng China. Of course, to invade na rin, as well as of course to pag sinabi kong gusto din nilang malaman kung anong gawaan ng galawan ng ibang tao para mapagandaan. In fact, sabi nga sa news, no, sabi ng Amerika, ang stealth plane daw nila, yung Hawk plane na yung stealth plane nila o yung stealth plane nila ay hindi raw na-detect ng kahit anong technology. Naglabas ngayon ng China. Sinabi ng China, armed forces nila, na-detect nila ang stealth plane umikot sa ibabaw ng kanilang bansa. So, kung i-analyze nyo, ito yung way. Diba? Gumagawa ngayon ng way ang China para lahat ng bagay malaman nila. So, na-detect na si stealth plane. So, hindi na siya kumbaga powerful na plane, no, na isang fighter jet plane, no, spy jet plane na tinatawag natin na pinagmamalaki ng Amerika. Even ang Russia, 'di ba? Takot na takot yung ibang bansa dahil ngayon nung pinakita nila yung weapon nila, 'di ba, yung supersonic ata ang tawag nila doon or sonic lang. 'Di ba, nung bumagsak ilang segundo lang, no, parang nabura na yata yung isang bayan. Although sample lang yun, pero nakita nila yung impact pagsabog. So yung mga bansa dati na tinitira, no, laging kine-question si Putin, ngayon bigla na nahimik. Even ang Germany, na dating nakikiaway ngayon, no, parang pinakampiyan niya ang Ukraine, ngayon tumahimik. So pinakitaan na sila ng Russian ngayon. So it means, this is a kind of strategy, no, ng China at the same time sa mga countries ng kalaban ng Amerika. Next, of course, is, number 3 is deepening regional cooperation. China is pursuing deeper economic integration with the other Asian or other countries like yung Asia-Pacific regions through the initiative like the RCEP, no, and the Belt and the Road Initiative. So RCEP means Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, which is considered the world largest free trade agreement yan, no? Encompassing with the 15 Asia economists and includes ito ng mga ASEAN, 10 ASEAN member states. So kasama po tayo dyan kasi ASEAN. And also along with them, along with it, we have Australia, China, Japan, South Korea, New Zealand. So nandiyan China, tandaan nyo. The agreement, no, sabi rito, aims to lower trade barriers, harmonize, no, trade rules na kasi na may problema sa world trade, and create a more integrated regional market. Kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, ang tawag doon ay BRICS. BRICS ata yun, yung organization na tinatag ng Brazil, Russia, Indonesia, China. Nakalimutan ko yung S Ano yung S? BRIC ata or BRICS. Basta yan. Silang bansang yan ang nagtayo ng BRIC na yan na related sa economics. So, I mean to say trading. So, maraming bansa nang sumasali and I understand there are around 70 plus na ang sumasali. And Amerika hindi pa sumasali dyan. Siyempre, hindi naman welcome dahil China and Russia yung nandun Kalaban yun ng Amerika. So, ang Amerika, ang ginagawa ng Amerika ngayon ay humihiwalay siya sa ibang mga organizations, di ba? Kasi Ako nafi-feel ko magtatatag ang Amerika ng bagong organization na kokontrolin niya lahat. 'Di ba? Kaya ganito ang Amerika. Anyway, so ayan po siya. Next also, another, what is the purpose of the Belt and Road Initiative? Take note, Belt and Road Initiative is outlined 6 economic corridors for trade and investment connectivity. It would also be implemented ito, no? The BRI or BRICS po, no, develops new markets for Chinese firms. Channels access industrial capacity overseas, increase China's access, no, to resources, and also to strengthen its ties, no, with partners or partner countries. The Belt po and the Road Initiative aim to promote yung connectivity of Asian, European, and African. Okay? So tinan mo target niya, Asian and African, mga neglected places to, continent. So yung European, may mga ilang sasama, syempre. And their adjacent seas, no? Establish and strengthen partnership among the countries along the belt and the road, okay, or road that set up all dimensional, multi-tiered, and compassionate or composite rather connectivity networks and realize diversified. Then also we have, while it was promote economic growth and infrastructure development in the developing countries, the BRI po ultimately pushed, no, toward a trilecta, no, of environmental devastations. Kaya tignan nyo mga climate change, yan, nakapokus po sila dyan. Okay, in the forms of coal, yung polar belt or road, inuntid nila. Dati cotton belt or silk road lang, no? Pero ngayon, nilagyan na po nila ng polar silk kasi yung mga nasa taas. No? Kasi pa tinawag na polar yung sa mga bear sa taas, di ba? Yan. And also yung biodiversity lost. So ito po yung referring to the environment, no? Yung sea environment, yung nasisira yung mga kung ano-ano, no? Yan po yan. So the globalization impact, sabi rito, it's highlighted the vulnerabilities of global interdependence, especially in technology and of course the healthcare. So tamang-tama, nasa field niyo po ito, exposed of course during the COVID-19. In fact, hindi pa naman tapos dahil may mga pang dumarating din sa atin. Hindi nga lang masyado pang pero ang understanding ko yung flu, no? Matindi po daw yung flu ngayon. Kaya dapat ingat-ingat tayo. Now, for the Trump's policy, no, the challenge the assumptions of the globalization, especially free trade. It also opened borders and international cooperation. His American first stance aimed to reshape globalization into a more controlled, take note, more controlled, okay, national interest-based, ito po yung model na sinasabi natin, and which are some called deglobalization, strategic decoupling. Okay, so what is deglobalization? Okay, hindi po yan globalization or what? Deglobalization. Deglobalization refers to a decrease, no, in the level of interconnectedness and integration between countries, particularly in economic and trade relations. Tandaan nyo ha, it is essential, the opposite of globalization, where countries po become more interdependent. This can also be manifest, and can only be manifest as increased, no, trade barriers, decreased foreign direct investment, and a shift towards domestic production. So nakapokus po ngayon sa domestic. Kaya tino Amerika, hindi na sila bibili sa ibang bansa, kundi ipoproduce na sa bansa nila para ang mga manggagawa nila ay puro mga Amerikano na rin. So what is now the key aspect of the globalization? One, reduce interdependence. The globalization implies a decline in the flow of goods and services, including capital and information across borders. Number two, increase protectionism, which countries po may adopt protectionist measures like yung paying tariffs, quotas, and other trade barriers to shield their domestic industries from foreign competition. Sabi do sa previous na short film natin, 'di ba? Sabi dapat free trade, 'di ba? Walang mga kung ano-ano. dapat walang protectionism. Pero ang nangyari ngayon, with the new rule of policy ni Trump, nakafocus ngayon sa protectionism. So, I don't think kung titignan po natin, kung magpupush, remember ang globalization is a free move of people di ba? Pero kung ganito mangyayari, parang magkakaroon tayo ulit ng limitation. So, babalik ulit tayo sa panahon na parang mangyayari ay atin-atin na lang una muna ulit produkto natin. Di ba? Number 3, reshoring and nearshoring. So in businesses, may also relocate production back to their home countries. So ang tawag po dyan ay reshoring. Take note po ha, resources na back uh, to their home country. Or yung nearby countries, ang tawag po doon ay nearshoring. Okay? To reduce reliance on global supply chain. So ito yung ginagawa ng ibang manufacturing companies like lalo na sa China. Yung mga companies doon, ang ginagawa nila is nearshoring. Yung iba naman dahil parang gusto na rin nila umalis, so ina-apply nila ngayon yung reshoring. No? Bumabalik na sila sa bansa nila. Number 4, focus on local solution. Okay, so there will be a greater emphasis on developing local solutions and industries rather than relying on global market. So, gaya ginagawa ng Amerika, magbibuild ulit sila ng factories, bubuhay nila, magbibigay sila ng less tax, no? Tax collection sa mga businessmen para ma-encourage po yung mga businessmen na bumalik, mag-reshoring, no? At hindi na pumunta sa ibang bayan. Number 5, nationalism and protectionism. In the globalization or the globalization is often associated with a rise in nationalist, no, yung mga sentiments and policies that prioritize national interests over global cooperation. Also, the geopolitical tension is also number 6 yan, which increase geopolitical instability and tension can also be contribute to deglobalization as sabi dyan, countries become more cautious about engaging with each other. What about the causes? Ito po yung causes ng deglobalization. 1, there is an economic crisis or economic crisis. So as we understand, major economic events like yung 2008, remember yung tinatawag nating financial crisis and even yung COVID natin in 2019, di ba? Can disrupt global supply chains, and lead to a real evolution of international trade dependence. So alam natin ang impact ng financial crisis, walang masyadong bumili, walang masyadong nag-trade kasi mahal ang dollar, tinanaasan kasi ng Amerika. Tapos nagka-pandemic, sa pandemic time, wala po rin nag-produce dahil natatakot sa sakit. So ang pinoproduce ng tao dati o ng companies dati ay makabenta o makagawa ng gamot. 'Di ba? Kaya yung Sinop ba yun? Sinop o tsaka yung mga Pfizer, mga yan. Then also the number 2 yung geopolitical factors, events like yung Brexit. Remember yung nag-exit si London or si England, no? The war in Ukraine and Russia po 'yan. And even increase in trade tensions between major powers can also create uncertainty and discourage international cooperations. Also number 3, we have technological advancement. So while technology po can facilitate globalization, it can also enable the development of more localized production and consumption patterns. Number 4, nandiyan po ang environmental concerns. Climate change, okay, number 1 po yan. Not only for the policy of Trump or whatever, but this is a problem of the world ngayon. And also need for sustainable development, which is the program of United Nations, yung 17 goals, can also be lead to a shift towards more localized production and consumption. And another cause, number 5, of course, is political shifts. So the rise of popularists and the mga nationalists, mapagmahal ko nung movement, sabi natin, in various countries can also fuel protectionist policies and a move away from global integration. Just like what America is actually doing right now. Nagmo-move sila to global, move away from a global integration. For potential consequences po ng deglobalization, one, reduce economic growth. Okay? So, deglobalization can lead to slower economic growth due to decreased trade, investment, and innovation. Number two, increase inequality. So while some argue that the globalization can protect domestic jobs, okay, it may also exacerbate income inequality by limiting access to cheaper goods and services. And last two, supply chain disruptions, which is referring to reshoring or nearshoring, can disrupt existing global supply chains, potentially leading to shortage and price increases. And last potential, reduced cooperations in the globalization can hinder international cooperations on issues like climate change and pandemics and global security. Okay, so may question po tayo for now. Baka po may tanong. Magtanong ha. May tanong po ba? Wala nagtatanong? O natutulog na kayo? Ni-stop ko na. Ayaw pong mawala. Kanino ko pa to in-stop? Ayaw pa rin niyang bumalik. Mabagal ata talaga ngayon ng net. May question po ba tayo? Okay. So, for now, kindly check please,